Boy, oh boy, did I have a morning today.
Yeah.
Well, I got to work. I started going blind in one eye because I get migraines. Um, so I took an Excedrin and then briefly thought that I was having a major allergic reaction to a medication for the first time in my life. Was not the case, but now I think I might be getting sick. So
So like
we're doing great.
so like the cold symptoms you thought were like allergic reaction symptoms.
Cause I took an Excedrin for like I've taken like like I took the generic, but like they have the little wall first aid kit in various workplaces that just has little packets of any and everything. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I go blind in one eye before I get a migraine. I should head this off. That's a smart decision. So I like took the name brand Excedrin for the first time like ever, and then I like immediately just start coughing like a motherfucker. Like
Hmm.
not 5 minutes later, just like throat is super itchy. I'm like, what's happening? And then I like felt like really like lightheaded. It was
So
weird.
maybe dental, like, or maybe the other symptoms are related to like in the migraine or like have a common cause.
I have absolutely no idea. But so that was an interesting morning for me.
Sounds fun.
It's
Sounds like
great.
a good time.
We're
Did,
absolutely crushing it. How about
did you
you?
get to go home from work?
Hmm?
Did you get to go home from work?
No.
Oh, just checking.
No, I mean I didn't even like it's not like I asked to go home. I just went and like sat in the crew quarters for like 20 minutes and was like, okay, well, I don't think I'm dying, so back out we go.
Yeah, I that's one like unfortunate thing about being an adult is like if you're a kid, you got like the slightest symptoms, you're like, well, I'm not going to school today, and you get waited on and you don't have to do like anything except watch TV.
I know.
And then when you're an adult, the bar changes.
Yeah, they're like, fuck you, function.
It's like, are you physically dying? Are you capable of standing up? Keep doing it.
But also
Keep going.
that is uniquely American.
Yeah.
Capitalist hellscape.
That's so true. Like, you know, I hit my head the other day and I was like, I probably shouldn't be teaching classes because I don't even know what I'm saying because I've been in like a fog ever since. My head's been hurting ever since. And yet, have I done literally anything different?
No.
No.
Yeah, that tracks.
Yeah, I didn't go to my running workout yesterday, but that's about it.
Yay, you get one hole punched on your saying no to things card.
Yeah, I figured if I tried to like exert myself like that, I might fall over. So
Well, I appreciate that you didn't do that.
yeah, but I mean, like, I feel like that's so emblematic of it too that I'm just like, I'm like almost 100% now that I have a concussion because my head has not stopped hurting for 3 days, and so it's like, did I go to a doctor? Did I relax? No, did everything exactly the same. What a culture!
America. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, it's good time. Like, and I mentioned to colleagues, like, you can actually see the cuts on my head
Oh
and
yeah.
stuff, and like they didn't seem at all phased. So
There's some video I've seen. It was like someone posted on Reddit. It's like, oh, what are Americans not ready to hear? And it's just all of the most blatantly obvious things about this country from coming from Europeans. It was like, oh, that you guys' health system sucks. It's like, yeah,
we know that.
we know. Like, I promise every single criticism you possibly have to make about the United States, any reasonable person living here knows.
Yeah, we know. Not ready to hear. Like, we're aware of it.
We're
How do we
very
not?
aware of it.
No. Yeah, we know all the toxic parts of our culture.
But also, at least when you order a large coffee in the United States, you get a large coffee, not.
Oh man, yeah, they look down on us for not drinking espresso. Like American coffee, most places in the world is like disgusting. It's like water. this was my experience in Europe, that they only had like espresso everywhere. But you know what else they have everywhere? Starbucks.
You know?
Which I would have seen as a bad thing and been like, oh, freaking globalization, dominance of the Western world and all that stuff. But that was the only way I could have my coffee when I was over there. Because that was the, like, nowhere else actually had anything but, like, espresso. And I tried to drink it. It made me very sick.
I mean, that's
too much acid.
That's the thing. What if you just don't like it?
But see, everybody over there, they do like it. Like, that's what they're.
But what if even then? What if you're over there, and it's just not your thing? Like, there's plenty of people here who's like stuff that's like, considered like, and like a part of like America. Like, my dad doesn't like pizza. Do I think it's fucking weird? Do I think it's fucking weird? Yeah, but like.
Was he body snatched?
No.
I got nothing then.
So just like, even if it is considered the norm over there, what if you just don't like espresso?
Yeah, well, that's why Starbucks everywhere.
This is also true.
Although, like, one of the Starbucks we went to, they were like, oh yeah, first of all, most of the places we couldn't get them to understand what we were talking about when we were asking.
Cute.
For, like, drip coffee. And one place, they're like, oh yeah, we only make that first thing in the morning, and then once it's gone, we don't make any more because no one wants it. This is at Starbucks.
Bruh.
Yeah. Anyway. So I hated to be that person going to Starbucks. But I also have a caffeine addiction, and my stomach couldn't handle espresso, so what am I gonna do?
If I was a snob, I would probably say, if I was one of the people who's snobby about it, I would probably say die. But I'm not, so.
I don't see that as an option either. I tried. At least I wasn't like, immediately, oh, I'm not drinking that,
No, I feel that. Actually, my one weird thing about I think the presence of a lot of like internet like chains that started out in the United States having gone global is really interesting, because like my friends, when I was on the study abroad trip in St. Petersburg, like we went out to the clubs one night and then we kind of split off into two separate groups. Like a couple people went to this club, a couple people went to that club, and then we met up again in the morning. But the other group wound up doing like a 3 a.m. McDonald's run. Mm-hmm. And like they have different things on the menu in different countries. And like one of my little things was like, had I been there for a little bit more time and kind of not been like, okay, I have like 1 month to cram in as much culture as physically possible, like I would have gone on a little Mickey D's run. See, just see what's different.
I went to McDonald's in Paris. It was very different.
Precisely. Like,
they even had macarons, which I got because I'm like, how do you not get McDonald's macarons?
I know. And also, apparently, like, I guess, I know that, like, McDonald's and a lot of international chains are not operating in Russia anymore for obvious reasons. But I guess one of the things they had was, like, they had, like shrimp, like, poppers.
Like, fried shrimp?
Yeah.
Huh.
Like, one of the things, like, one of my friends from that trip, like, when a bunch of chains made the announcement, like, oh, we're no longer operating in these regions, he literally retweeted the like headline and was like, the fried shrimp poppers are only available at like McDonald's, and I think this is what it is, McDonald's in Russia, and I had them and they slapped so hard.
You went here because I get to try them. And that makes me so sad.
I know. Yeah.
I want to try all.
As much as American / Western cultural dominance is problematic, to say the least, interesting results in some places where you get your little difference. It's like the fucking, what movie? Pulp Fiction. Yeah, the same shit as over here. It's just a little different. Kind of fun.
pretty much nothing is all good or all bad.
Yeah.
You know, generally speaking, cultural imperialism, bad. But do we get some kind of cool things out of it occasionally? Sure. The world is a varied place, full of wonders and disappointments.
Indeed. Actually, speaking of international things, this was a question that was posed by one of my friends in the group chat who lives in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
Do we think that regular bus drivers feel like emasculated or inferior when they see a double-decker bus? Because we don't have those here.
Well, I've actually wondered the same thing, but, like, you know, have you ever been in bigger cities where they have the double long buses, where they have, like, the accordion thing in the middle?
Yes.
Like, I've wondered about that same thing, because, like, it's gonna take some skill to drive one of those.
Yeah.
You know? And so, like, the people that are able to drive those extra long, like, double long buses, like, the people that don't get to do it or can't do it, do they just feel, like, so inferior?
Yeah. I feel like, honestly, if I was, like, driving, like, a normal bus and then a double-decker bus pulled right up next to me, I'd just be like, God damn it. Like, I'd be kind of salty. I would feel bad about myself in that moment. So I feel like the answer has to be yeah, because the other bus is more impressive.
Oh, I guess. I was thinking about it more along the lines of skill, because I don't know that the skill would be different with a double-decker versus a normal.
I genuinely have no idea. Oh, no, oh, yeah, it is in here. You can't really see it that well because of the lighting, but on the bottom of my shelf there, I have a little Lego double-decker bus.
Aww.
That I got for Christmas one year.
I've got this snow globe. Little double-decker.
Oh, gorge. Oh, and also speaking of Christmas, this is one of my mom's Christmas sweaters. The time is upon us.
Mm-hmm.
Loving it.
Yeah, I'm running an ugly sweater 5K tomorrow, and I never got around to finding an ugly sweater.
So what are you wearing?
Sad. Well, I was gonna wear my Christmas vacation hoodie, but then I realized I'm gonna want to wear it when I get home. Like, I just feel like it's gonna be the vibe tomorrow, you know, because it's so soft. Like, I'm gonna get home and take a nice shower and then put that nice soft hoodie, fuzzy hoodie on.
That is understandable.
Yeah, I might just dress normally and enjoy other people's sweaters. Which is a little lame, I know, but...
Rip. Oh well. You know, sometimes that's just unfortunately just how it be. But yeah, if I was a bus driver and somebody else pulled up next to me in a double-decker bus, I would definitely feel bad about myself in that moment.
Aren't they all, like, double-decker over there? I don't know that I saw a non...
I have never been to London. I don't know. And I'm sure this is technically very Googleable, but that is against the spirit of this podcast.
Yeah, no, it's not the... Like, you know I'm a big fan of the Googling, and I do a lot of Googling during the pod, but this I don't...
We don't want answers.
Yeah, this I don't care.
We want context. Sometimes.
Yep. Nope, I don't care right now.
Yeah. Again, I would definitely be like, damn, that should be me. Why am I not doing that?
Well, and I've wondered the same thing about, like, truck drivers, because there's such a big difference in, like, the loads that they carry, or, like, the size of the, what do you call it,
the trailer?
Not the trailer part, but the actual, like, part with the engine, the cab.
Yeah, okay.
Even though there's differences, you know? And, like, if you're just chugging along in yours and you just got, like, you know, normal trailer, and then somebody else comes along with one of those extra tall ones, or, like, added elements of danger, like logs sticking out.
I wonder, I'm sure they absolutely have to, because truck drivers have the CB radio, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they all have to be, like, roasting each other.
Yeah. You know, because my stepdad is a truck driver.
Oh my god, yes, you have inside knowledge.
Yeah, and yeah, so, I mean, that's one of the reasons I thought about it. I occasionally ask him stuff like that when it pops to my head. But, like, I've talked to him on the phone multiple times while he's been on his truck, and I can hear the CB in the background.
And what are they doing? Like, hey, asshole.
Yeah, they're pretty much just talking about random things. Sometimes they're actually bringing up, like, traffic, or, like, oh, there's a speed trap up here kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But most of it's just, like, random, we're driving for hours.
That's the thing. I feel like as much as I'm sure there are many, many detriments to being a truck driver, I feel like the CB radio has to be one of the positives. Because it's just, free entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
If I was a truck driver, I would be, like, testing out stand-up on the CB radio. Are you kidding me? Like,
I did one time.
I'll entertain everybody.
I asked my stepdad how often somebody goes like this to him, to get him to honk the horn. And he's like, yeah, it's like 3 to 4 times a day.
Hell yeah. That is wonderful.
I asked him, I was like, do you always honk? He's like, yeah, mostly. I know a lot of people who only do it if it's kids, but I don't care.
Love it. Yeah, honestly, I am 24 years old. I still do that sometimes. And, like, even if I am the one driving.
Yeah, it's a good time.
You gotta entertain yourself somehow. Oh, I also just remember another time in the group chat, one of my friends from Chile, we were talking about, like, someone was like, oh, can anyone here drive a truck? And I was like, what do you mean, like an 18-wheeler or like a pickup truck? And my friend was like, do you mean, and my other friend who was from Chile was like, do you mean like, like a long-haul truck or one of those American cars?
Maybe like an SUV is what they meant?
Well, because also, like, truck culture, not just, like, actually, like, transporting cargo from place to place is a pretty uniquely American thing. And, like, American cars in general are just bigger, but trucks especially. So that was just, like, really funny to hear.
Yeah, every once in a while I see a truck where I'm just like, is that necessary?
And here's
Does
the
it
thing,
need to be that big?
99% of the time I'm gonna say no, but if you show me, like, an old, like, teal, like a vintage teal Ford,
mm-hmm.
Oh my god. Like a vintage Ford pickup, like from the 50s. Love that. I would drive that every single day.
My dad used to have one of those.
Those are so sick. I love them so much. And, like, to quote John Mulaney, I don't know anything about cars. I meant to learn about cars and then I forgot. All I know is what cars I think look cool. A lot of vintage pickups are awesome. And, like, I hate driving the pickup trucks at work because they are so large and unwieldy, but if you offered me, like, a cool, slick-looking vintage pickup, I would drive it everywhere, every single day.
I don't think I've ever actually driven a truck.
I have several times now.
I mean, I've driven giant, like, 18-passenger vans and SUVs and stuff, but I don't think they're, like, an actual pickup truck.
I feel like having driven the van, that has to count.
Yeah, I don't know. Those things are massive. When we would have, like, off-campus activities when I was an undergrad, I was, like, a volunteer driver. To, like,
one time, for one of my required science credits, I took a geology class, and we had, like, a little expedition or whatever, field trip thing to one of the, like, waterfalls in, like, a nearby park where you could, like, there was, like, a bunch of, like, slate formations.
Right.
And that was fun. We used one of those trucks, and I just distinctly remember that somehow I wound up shotgun. I don't know why.
I had this urge to run to the next room and get the rocks.
Oh, yeah! I gave you that for Harley.
Uh-huh.
Cool fossil. I love a good fossil. Anyway, completely unrelated, but next question. This is from somebody on Twitter, and I already sent this to the chat for this video channel here. Out of nowhere, my nephew just asked, do you think Pavlov thought about feeding his dog every time he heard a bell ring?
Yes.
I feel like he absolutely had to have. He had to have unintentionally Pavloved himself while developing this theory.
If you condition somebody or something or whatever to, like, do a certain thing when they hear a certain thing, by doing that, you are also having those things repeated for you.
Yeah.
You're going to learn to associate those things too. Right? Because that's the entire point of classical conditioning. Two things are paired together so often they become linked in your mind.
Yes.
So if he's constantly ringing a bell and then feeding his dog, linked. Very profound.
Yeah, that 100% has to have been the case. Also, back when I was on Tumblr, I remember seeing a post that was like, I got this guy to like me by offering him his favorite candy every time he saw me. Do we think that's ethical?
I don't see why not.
Yeah, honestly.
Because, like, you're doing a nice thing for them.
Precisely.
They're still, and they're still a being with, sentience. Like, they can make their own decisions.
Yeah.
They're not gonna, like, only date a person because they give them candy. If they didn't like that person, they wouldn't.
Yeah. It's a tough game out there. Do what you can to give yourself an advantage. Classically condition your crush.
Absolutely. Like, people wear, like, intense makeup that makes them look different than they do without the makeup, and that's okay, and that's,
Yeah, no, you heard it here, folks. Classically condition your crush.
Yeah.
It works.
I think that's fine.
And
I literally teach a class on ethics. So.
Okay, so then you heard it here, folks. It's fine. It's allowed.
I'm teaching that class right now.
I love that for you. I keep, like, accidentally leading us into rather interesting segues because we're talking about, like, romance. And since we have entered St. Nicholas Cage month, I just want to, like, discuss the fact that Nick Cage has played a romantic lead more than, like, multiple times.
Yeah.
And, like, what do we think about that?
You know what's great? I mean, I know we only just had the one Nicolas Cage discussion thus far.
Yes.
But I don't know if I'd ever get tired of talking about Nicolas Cage.
No, I don't think it's possible.
Yeah.
Probably not. Yeah, like, just thoughts.
Well, like, he has range.
He has range.
Wide variety of roles. Does this have anything to do with the movie City of Angels that I brought up during the stream?
I mean, possibly subconsciously. I kind of just randomly thought of it. I was like, like, that's a bold move to make. Well, especially more than once.
Yeah, I mean, because I don't know. I can't think of other movies other than that are like, that have romance as their focal point.
Moonstruck.
Well, see, yeah, we were talking about that. I've never seen it.
Worth watching, I would say. And honestly, I watched it when I was younger and distinctly salty about the notion of romance-focused movies, so I'm probably due for another much more open-minded viewing. But yeah, just, again, it's happened more than once, like, which is just so telling. Because if someone tries something and it doesn't, like it really flops, generally it doesn't happen again. Like, do we buy that, for example, again, to use the movie Moonstruck as an example, Cher, in her prime, her character was supposed to be attracted to Nicolas Cage. Like, do we buy this?
It's hard to say because I don't know how he was playing the character.
Just Google the movie. Just, like, look at him. We'll start with that.
Let me see. Nicolas Cage. Struck. Images. That hair's a choice.
It's a choice. It is most definitely a choice. Actually, what year was this?
He's so young. What a baby.
What year was this?
Well, I mean,
1987.
Yeah. It's not just what he looks like, it has to do with his mannerisms as well. Because, like...
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like, we did Face Off for our first stream of St. Nicholas Cage month.
Mm-hmm.
And imagining him, like, his kind of over-the-top performance in something like that, it would be difficult to imagine.
Yeah.
But then he has more understated performances that I think would be, easier to believe.
Like, And I don't even know if I would necessarily say that Nicolas Cage was at any point particularly attractive, but like, at least like here, he cleans up okay.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he's fine. I mean, he's not an unattractive guy.
He, again, I can't decide whether or not I find, like, you know, in his prime, whether I find him attractive or not, because, like, based on my history with not even just, like, guys that I've found attractive, like, any celebrities that I found attractive, I find quote unquote weird faces a lot more appealing than just, like, oh yeah, like, chiseled jaw and, like, you know, kind of standard, like, your Chris Evanses type shit.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely am not more into the Chris Evans type either. But like, when I say he's not unattractive, like on a scale of 1 to 10, like that picture you showed, like that version of him, I'm still only gonna put him at a 5.
Yeah, was it like a 5 or a 6?
Yeah. So, but I just mean like he's not bottom of the barrel, know.
No, he is not bottom of the barrel.
And like, so I mean, there's at least that. It's not like he's hideous.
And the thing that I kept like kind of thinking, I've like not kept thinking about necessarily, but a thing that occurred to me more than once during Face Off was that, like, again, as much as he is, especially in that movie, a kind of weird looking dude, like, he is at the very least in shape.
Yeah.
Which, like, alright, yeah, good for him. Like,
it's true.
Alright. So at the very least, he does technically have that going for him.
Yeah.
In many of his movies.
Well, and I think, I think, like, putting the movie City of Angels up against something like Face Off is a really interesting juxtaposition, because those were back to back. Like, Face Off was the last movie, came out of his in 97, and then City of Angels came out in early 1998.
I have to Google this City of Angels.
So they were back-to-back movies. My mom and I saw City of Angels in theaters. I was like, I wouldn't have had my birthday yet that year, so I was 12. And so it's a movie where Nicolas Cage is an angel named Seth. And he comes down and he meets Meg Ryan because she's like working in a hospital and she loses a patient, so he's there for like the patient or whatever and to like comfort her. And they like fall in love, and he has to decide whether he wants to quit being an angel for her.
And that's another thing, like, do you buy Meg Ryan falling for Nicolas Cage?
Well, see, but that's the thing, right? So, in that movie, I've seen him in a lot of roles, and I have never seen him perform the way he does in that movie.
Interesting. Please attempt to describe.
He's very reserved and very quiet, soft-spoken. And he has like kind of a, because of that, he has sort
of picture that.
Yeah, and because of that, he has sort of like a mysterious and vulnerable kind of vibe that makes you want to like take care of him. Yeah, it's very different.
I will be adding that to my watch list because holy shit, I don't even I can't wrap my mind around it right now.
Yeah,
and like
I mean, keep in mind, I haven't seen this movie in 20-something years, so this is my recollection of it. But
I mean, still.
Yeah, I have to put that that disclaimer in there just in case I'm misremembering something. But
I mean, you're not remembering it as clearly another just unhinged, chaotic. Like it's definitely sticking out of your mind as different.
Oh yeah, and I can still see and hear certain scenes perfectly in my mind and the way that he talks, and it's very different. And so that's why thinking about him in a role like that as compared to Face Off kind of performance, I can sort of see from City of Angels.
Yeah, Moonstruck, I don't even know how I would necessarily describe that, because he is playing this character who there's a lot of he's super bitter and there's a lot of stuff simmering underneath, so he has a lot of these moments where he does his kind of insane flying off the handle thing, but just in a more realistic less stylized way than in something like Face Off, but like there are some like there I mean, it's supposed to be a romantic movie. There are obviously quieter moments. And I feel like the fact that he's like such an angry dude in that movie like doesn't necessarily do him a ton of favors.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I mean that's part of the whole thing. Yeah, it's just
Yeah. But yeah, in City of Angels, just very soft-spoken, gentle. He's an angel.
fascinating.
Yeah. You know what we should do?
Do tell.
You and I start back at the very beginning of his credit list and just watch every Nicolas Cage movie in order.
We absolutely should. That sounds like a blast.
Because I feel like,
Hell yes.
like you've seen some I haven't seen, I've seen some you haven't seen, and I think if we were to just watch all of them and get the full range of his performances, that would help us interpret, each individual one better.
We will become Nicolas Cage film scholars.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, going back to the made-for-TV movie that was his first credit on IMDb.
No, I'm so here for it. I'm so here for it. And then we end by talking to the man himself. I don't know how I'm gonna make that happen, but Jesus Christ, can you imagine?
That would be amazing.
That would be fantastic. The mortifying ordeal of just asking for things stops me from like reaching out to a lot of people, but sometimes I'm like just what if I was like, hey man, you got 45 minutes like at any point?
Yeah. Not gonna cost you anything to ask.
Yeah. Maybe someday. We'll see. God, that would be fun. What the hell what would we talk about if we are to keep format? What the fuck would we ask that man? Because I am sure he has things to say.
I feel like we would have more of an idea after seeing all of his movies.
And you know what? We are going to make this a goal for ourselves. Make it a meme now. Make it a trending hashtag. Publicize this. Tell your friends. We are going to watch every single Nicolas Cage movie in order, and then Nick Cage on the podcast, putting that out into the universe right now.
I'm trying to come up. I'm not going to be able to do it at the moment, but I'm going to come up with a really good name for this.
I love it.
There's got to be something.
I do actually still want to try reaching out to the director of Rubber. Because that's such an indie thing. I feel like he might actually be like, yeah, I'll give these two idiots. I'll give these two idiots an hour of my time.
We need to know what happened to Robert after.
I know. Oh my god, I love that movie. That movie was.
Yes.
The Insane movie is is truly an art form.
Did I tell you that I had a student talking about that movie in class like a few weeks after?
No way. You did?
Stream. I was like, Robert, you say? I was like, I love that movie, and the look she gave me was like, how do you even know what that is? And she was talking about Velocipaster, too.
We still have to watch Velocipaster. There's a lot of things we have to watch.
There's a second one coming out. So we gotta watch it.
Oh my god, we will get to it. We will 100% get to it. But,
What a world we live in.
Hmm?
What a world we live in.
I know.
And there's a Jeff the Talking Mongoose movie coming. I just can't. With Simon Pegg in it.
Do the boys know about this yet?
I don't know.
Oh, man.
Maybe when you email side stories again, you can throw that in there as an attention getter in case they're not aware.
Yeah, no, that honestly, that might not be a bad idea. Again, continuing to just find weird segues, I mentioned The Boys. This is about this next video that I found on Twitter that we're discussing. Again, it's kind of just a discussion. Do you think should I let the? I'll let it play a little bit because I just want to give people like a little bit of context. Give them like 30 seconds.
Okay. While you're doing that, I'm gonna grab a sweater out of my closet because I'm cold.
Love it.
Let's see how good you're.
Come on. Hello.
I am never too far away.
Oh, do we have a problem?
Let's see how good your etiquette is. This.
Oh no, it's not working.
It's taking its sweet time. Hold on.
Jeez.
Ooh, and now we are frozen on the screen.
Oh no!
What in the world? What? Okay, what if I just open this on regular Twitter instead? Okay, cool, now it's working. Let me just drag this over here real quick.
Space yourself as much as you can. Here, I'd probably go to this. Let's see how good your etiquette is. This one's a no-brainer. I'd definitely go all the way to the right. You want to space yourself as much as you can. Here, I'd probably go to the same thing, because anything else and you're kind of too close to people, you definitely don't want those two in the middle, because then you're like stacked between people.
Is this a thing?
This one's a no-brainer. You want to go directly in the middle, otherwise you're...
Okay, so basically this video is a girl reacting to this guy's live stream where he's discussing, like, the etiquette rules of, like, when you enter a men's bathroom, like a men's public bathroom, to, like, use a urinal, which one you should go to if there are other people already, like, at urinals. And apparently there's, like, a whole, like, set of just, like, rules and, like, things that one should and should not do when choosing where to pee. Were you aware that this existed before I sent this video to you?
Yes.
I would say to some degree I was, because I was like, yeah, if there's one single person and then just another row of empty spaces and you go right next to that person, that's obviously weird.
Yeah.
But when it starts getting into the, like, it's every other, like, there's like one space, then a person, space, person, that I was not aware that there were kind of, like, rules.
But I feel like we all follow those rules, like, almost instinctively in different contexts. Like, you're getting on a bus, or you're picking a seat in a waiting room.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to sit directly next to the only person. You're going to sit, like, as far away as possible. And I've definitely had that kind of moment where it's like people are sitting every other seat, and I'm like, maybe I'll just stand here.
Yeah.
So I feel like, again, I think it's just another part of U.S. culture in a way.
Yeah.
Because a lot of places it's the opposite, where it's rude if you don't sit next to, the one person on the bus. But I think we all kind of automatically do that math in our heads.
Yeah, I guess I kind of just never thought about it that way.
Yeah. I mean, so that's why it's like, I mean, I've talked to guys about this before, which is what,
I feel like it is higher stakes, though, if someone might, like, see your genitals based on the choice that you make.
But that's the thing, don't they, like, I mean, I've never used a urinal, but, like, don't they see each other's genitals all the time? It's kind of hard to avoid.
I have no idea how a bathroom... I mean, like, I've been in, like, a gender-neutral restroom that has, like, a stall and a urinal. Yeah. I do not know how the row of multiple works.
Yeah. I mean, I know that a lot of them have, like, the little divider, but it's not going up high enough that you can't just, even if you're not trying to, the peripherals. Yeah. If you're close to somebody.
I don't know how a men's bathroom works.
Why do I is the question. We really need a guy to, like, weigh in on this.
I know. I'm out of friends, though, is the problem.
Don't you have one there?
What, Kyle?
Yeah.
I don't know if he's here yet.
Okay.
He said he was going to arrive at some point during recording, and he would try to be quiet.
Like, just ambush him. He's like, come here, come tell us. Regale us with tales of the men's urinals.
Thrust the microphone into his face. What's it like? No. Yeah, I don't know if I heard something, but that could be Ollie just having his own little private Zoomy time.
Yeah. Well, and this is lower stakes as well, but I feel like I do a similar thing even with bathroom stalls. You know, like
Yeah,
if
I
there's
would
one
say
person in
it's,
there, you're not gonna put a stall right next to them.
yeah, I would say it's lower stakes.
Yeah.
But I guess I do kind of do that.
It's the stakes aren't quite as low if you have a shy bladder like I do.
That's fair. That's fair. Which is
I
honestly,
seriously have trouble going to the bathroom if I think someone can hear me.
it's
Unless it's somebody I know. You know, and then I don't really
I
care
would
about it.
honestly prefer for a bathroom to like be crowded than for there to be one other person in there.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
because then you're not as noticeable.
like, and also if it's like a situation where it's like you're at a concert and it's or like intermission or some shit, and it's just like long line at the bathroom, like you take the first, like it removes so much of the like weird social pressure and like doing the mental calculation of like, oh, is it weird if I use the stall right next to somebody? Like it's just like, okay, like first available, go. Everything's loud so nobody can hear you pee.
Yep. Takes out all the math and the considerations and just, simplifies it down to open toilet, use toilet.
Yes. Oh, existing in the world.
It's hard.
Isn't it though?
It's very difficult. I don't recommend it.
We say living beings.
Being only perceived by other living beings who also exist in the world.
Yup.
It's very...
We don't have a choice.
Until we rip a hole in a different dimension.
I don't think that, based on the way those Neuralink chips are going, I don't think we're getting that for a long-ass time. I think we will both be long dead by the time that happens.
Or we could have like a Wall-E situation where our brains are just like in the digital world all the time.
A what?
So, I mean, technically we exist in the world, but like mentally not so much.
Oh, I was like, what the hell are you talking about? Now I
Look
know.
at Wall-E at the
No,
beginning,
I've seen Wall-E. I was like, wait a second. Oh, I love that movie so much. I hate when people say it's boring because there's no dialogue for like the opening, like the first act.
Yeah.
You're simply wrong. I saw that movie in theaters. My mom fell asleep.
Aw.
Because there was no dialogue. It's boring. You are incorrect.
Was she maybe just very tired?
I mean, possible, but she and my sister laugh about how boring that movie is and about the fact that she fell asleep in it. So.
Well, I mean, we've had conversations before about certain people and their lack of taste in certain areas, and when they don't think certain things are funny, which objectively makes no sense.
I mean, you can just say my sister because she does not listen to this podcast and probably never will.
I think Marcel the Shell is not funny.
Her sense of humor baffles me.
I just don't get it.
I don't get it either.
What goes on in a person's brain that says that is not adorable and funny?
I simply don't understand. But also, like, I understand why she doesn't listen to the podcast because, like, she has to listen to me talk anyway. She's had to listen to me talk for 18 years minimum. Like, why would she volunteer to do it more?
I get that.
Thus is existence with siblings.
That's fun.
Anyway, technically our social math thing focusing on men's bathrooms in particular was the last thing that we have slated for today, and we've been going for about 45 minutes. I'm not against this being a slightly shorter episode, just because, shake things up, have some long ones, have some short ones.
And we're both struggling.
And we do both appear to be struggling. We're just doing great. Today was just not... It was neither of our days, but that's fine. We still did it.
At the beginning of my first class yesterday, like, I did my usual set of reminders for assignments and things, and then we were about to get into content, and I just kind of stared at the the screen on the wall for a minute, and then I turned to him and I leaned on the podium and I said, all right, guys, I'm gonna level with you. I hit my head. There we go. That's a bad sign. I hit my head super hard the other day, and I am just not with it. So I'm gonna do my best. We're gonna try to bear through here, but I have cut this down significantly, and we are not gonna be here long. And I told them, I explained, I was like, the water meter and the bolts and how they,
Oh, God.
I explained it, and the looks on their faces was just, it was very funny to me. And then I just was not, like, I don't even remember anything I said.
Should you be alone?
I mean, it's been 3 days.
Okay,
If I was going to go into a pill bottle by now.
Jesus Christ.
I really just wish my head would stop hurting. That would be really, really swell.
I'm
There was a point to me telling you that, like, bringing that up, and I don't remember what it was.
That we're both struggling?
Yes, but there was, like, a specific purpose that I'm forgetting.
Uh-oh.
Like, there was a reason. I don't remember what it was.
Do we want to try and follow that thread back, or... Do we also both have cold sores that are healing?
Mm-hmm.
Great. We are falling
Well,
apart
fun.
before your very eyes.
Yeah. That's making me miserable, too.
Twinsies. I never get them on my top lip. I always get them on the bottom.
This is only, like, the second one I've had in my whole life.
What's that like?
Well, I take medicine for it every day. I'm not supposed to get them. Because, I usually get, like, the ulcers inside the mouth, which is caused by the same thing, and I would have, like, 4 or 5 of them in my mouth at a time.
Jesus Christ, girl.
Yeah, so I've been taking 1,000 milligrams of lysine every day for, like, 15 years.
Alright.
And so I'm not supposed to get these things, but whatever.
Rip. Yeah, no, I tend to get them kind of often in the winter, which, like, sucks ass, but...
Yeah, not fun.
Sometimes that's just how it is on this bitch of an earth.
I really don't remember what the point of bringing that up was.
And I know as soon as I turn off the record, you're gonna remember.
I probably will. Man, the look on their faces, too, when I said that.
I, honestly, if I was sitting in class and I just had a professor that I, like, was not particularly close to, just be like, listen, I'm gonna level with you.
Yeah, that's
I'm
exactly
dying.
what I was thinking.
Like, I would have lost my shit.
Yeah, I was like
that would have just been unbelievably funny to me, so, like, I get it. I really do.
I was like, I gotta be honest. My head has not stopped hurting. I got these, like, cuts and lumps under my hair. Like, I actually specifically said these things. And I'm like, have any of y'all had that experience where you've hit your head, like, really hard like that, and a couple people in the class were like...
So they get it.
Yeah, so there was definitely a couple people who they're like, oh, I'm with you. I totally got, what's going on. Because again, I've had a concussion before. It's not a new thing to me. It's just, I don't remember my headache lasting this long before. Just kind of, I would just like it to stop now. That would be super.
Yikes.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
But hey, we still pulled through. I'm proud of us for that.
Yeah. Still making it happen somehow.
Teamwork makes the dream work. But yes. I think that's gonna call it I think that's gonna bring us to the end for today.
Yeah. Hopefully by next week we'll have mended.
Yeah, you know what? I'm putting that out into the universe. We're gonna be way more put together next week. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
We're gonna be super professional, and we're gonna crush it even more than we have already been crushing it for this entire podcast.
Crushing it. I so badly want to be really corny right now and find a thing to physically crush, but
I wish.
Does this count? It's craft glue.
No, I'm sorry. Oh, rip. Oh well. As always, thank you, friends, for fighting with us. We appreciate each and every single one of you, and we will be back again next week, in top form.
Eek.
Adios. This week's episode of the Fighting with Friends podcast was hosted by Bridget Kelly and Dr. Sarah Brookes. You can find other episodes of the podcast on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, or your other favorite listening platform. Follow us on Twitter at BridgetKelly98 and at AndSarahSaid. Rate and review us on your podcatcher of choice. Like, comment, and subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Twitch and Facebook, and join our Discord community using the links in the description. You can also help support us via the Acast supporter feature, or consider donating to our Patreon for early access to episodes and fun bonus content. Thanks for listening!